anyways, yeah, I don't have the money for a Switch. All my friends don't have money for a Switch, and we're all just not gonna end up buying that. Um, and just because I do YouTube videos, and just because anyone else who does YouTube videos, like, doesn't mean you should buy it. Um, put some money where the mouth is, and any other expression you can find. I've watched a small handful of videos on people shit talking the prices and stuff, and out of those YouTubers, only I think one of the five actually was like, yeah, I'm not gonna pay these prices. And so, essentially, only one of five YouTubers I watched who complained about the prices actually stuck to their guns and said, um, I can't support this. And it's sad because you're the problem. I like the amount of, it's very hypocritical to go and do like literally a 15-minute video and then say towards the middle and the end, like, oh, I'm still gonna buy it. Some of them say it in the beginning and I stuck around anyways. But there's a few I watched who, as soon as they said it, I clicked off the video. I'm like, I don't care. I don't care about if you don't like the Switch. If you're not going to, you know, if you're not going to actually, you know, put your money in your own beliefs, you don't, tell your kid, you wouldn't tell your kid, I believe you can make it at sports, and then give them like handing down rackets or something, because you're like, like, if you're poor, if you have the money, and you think something's good, you put the money into it. But if you think it's bad and it's a bad idea, why would you shove hundreds of dollars into it? Like, if you knew you were completely bad, probably the kid example is probably not a good example, but if you knew you weren't a good, oh, that's an enemy, or is it? How do I know? I'm gonna save. Um, if you knew you weren't good at a sport, you wouldn't. Well, hopefully, you wouldn't buy a sports bag, $1,000 sports bag, you know, just because you were you know it looked cool. It's like that's a waste of money. Like, essentially, that's what all these YouTubers are basically doing.
Treacherous little filcher! How dare you steal from me? Make it quick. Umbra.
What? I guess she wasn't an enemy. I didn't even think she'd notice. She just kind of turned it around. I thought time was paused. What happened there? But yeah. So to all of the YouTubers, I think, well, one of them was big. A few of them were. They definitely all had.
What?
You just chill here?
The blade. It hungers for souls.
Why is she just here? That's crazy. But yeah, that is the problem in today's like current times. I guess is what I'm trying to say. Is like, people want better things. They want this, they want that, and then they go and support, something contradiction. Like, you want cheaper games, you want.
Out of here while you can.
Okay. They want cheaper games, but they go out and buy. They're gonna still support the company that's making $80 games. You want better Pokemon games. You start supporting, Pal World, or you start not buying from Nintendo, Game Freak and stuff like that. Like, and that will now. I don't think there's any way to really like hit Nintendo in the or other Game Freak, because I feel like it's too mass popular. They'll never stop, even if reviews are terrible. because the amount of people that bought the game were like, wait a second, I don't like this. I am one of those people. But outside of playing the free games on my phone, like I play Pokemon Go, I play Pokemon Sleep, and I play TCG, but they're not getting money out of me. I'm not. Those are free games I can play, I enjoy, and Pokemon Go is more of a lifestyle game for me. I don't really want to invest time and money into it outside of what I'm already going to. What were those light spots? It's weird. Outside of just like, when I walk to work, walk around town, or I'm out and about, it's something to pull up and play while I wait. TCG is just, I like card collecting, I like opening packs, and they're not getting my money out of me either. Because I don't pay for subscription services through all that. And Pokemon Sleep, literally another free app. I have trouble maintaining a sleep schedule, and so I use it to help me maintain a sleep schedule, and that's it. I'm still not giving them money. Oh no, he was not friendly. Why are you attacking my horse? Bro, that's my horse. You just attack my horse like that? Fireball. It's Khajiit, man. Of course he had a lockpick. Where did the horse go? Why are you down there? You're getting attacked by a mud crab now? Can't do anything with this horse without it just getting jumped. Oh, hilarious. But yeah, I don't know how many people have you seen, just do that, where they say they don't like something but they keep supporting it. Like it's pretty crazy. Stars of the tower. This is like, I guess. One key added. Message added to player control. Greater powers. But I'm still the Lord. Okay. Sweet. I guess. What is affecting me anyways? I don't think there's really much else to say about this. I mean, I guess there is a little bit more to say, but I've pretty much said what I need to say. Is like these YouTubers. Actually, I'll end it with this. YouTubers and like the mass amount of people, like I'm not just saying like big popular YouTubers, although they could be part of the problem, honestly. The people who decide to sling, content that they're not happy with, they decide to put out positive reviews and don't, either accept doing reviews for games that are not allowing them to speak their mind freely and tell you what you really think. Like that is part of the issue with online reviewers and stuff like that. And usually they have to like tell you they're a paid review, or that they were given free access. But if they're not telling you they can say whatever they want, you should just kind of assume that they're not allowed to tell you everything that they want. So that is like one huge thing. Even if they get to say whatever they want, there's still a heavy incentive for like a lot of big YouTubers, I'd say, to just lie, not truly say what they feel, because if they, you know, like for example, if they do a lot of Nintendo stuff and they get access to a lot of early things, and they start saying like, yeah, I really didn't like X and Y and Z about this, you know, Nintendo stuff, and they've really started dropping the quality of this and that, and I didn't like this, and you know, they start, you know, giving criticism to the company. There is this, there definitely would be a, you know, a like, oh, well, I want to get invited to the next thing, and I want them to hook me up so I can get early access, get more views, because ultimately, like, all they care about is getting money from viewers, right? All YouTubers, some YouTubers that are big, at least, all YouTubers that are big, they just want, they essentially just want your money, with the exception of maybe like one that I actually have seen that it isn't actually really after your money, and it's just chilling. Most YouTubers are they're doing it for a job, unfortunately, and the games media space being kind of taken over by like when you go online, you know, when the official content isn't enough, and you want to know what else is going on with the game, and you go on YouTube, and the big YouTubers get shoved at your face, and they're like, oh, this game has good and this and that, you know, there's a few issues, but it's okay, and then you go and play it, and like you could be easily misled into buying a game by just like only watching one YouTuber, or like the top 2 YouTubers of whatever, and you just be gone. You could you know, you'd make that purchase and they'd won, and then suddenly you get this game that you thought was gonna be great, and it wasn't, you know, or classic. So yeah, and I think every YouTuber that's not funded by, you know, actual people, and even the ones that are, but especially ones that take a lot of ads and stuff like that, I've been getting in the habit of clicking off YouTube videos as soon as I hear like this video is sponsored as well, and like you might say, oh, they have to make a living, but I don't want people trying to make a living, and I don't want to watch content from people who are trying to make a living anymore. I want to watch content from people who are passionate and care, and it's not like these people can't be both, but when they're using a mallet, there's no sword. Jump on my sword. No. But yeah, the profit incentive, or there's definitely been a few videos I've watched that are just like they're 10 minutes long, and I see the ad read and I like skip past it, and I'm like, why did they really make this video talking about this? Did they want to talk about this, or did they want to just get their ad read in? You know, did they just, you know, Google search someone else's review and spit it out to you, or, you know, something to that nature, instead of, you know, actually taking the time to engage with the content they're talking about? It's, maybe I'm just getting old and becoming more cynical on a bunch of stuff, but, you know, there's a bunch of like terrible stuff going on around the world and stuff like that. I mean, you can't really trust much of anything. If money is involved, you can't really trust the honesty of a news publication and outlet. Like, you know, it's why news corporations in America and all news channels across the board kind of suck, because they all take money from food and drug corporations and stuff like that. So they're not gonna tell that, you know, you can't trust someone who's taking money you know, from like insurance agencies to run a story on insurance agencies, because the big hand, I mean, it already happened so much that like someone in corporate comes down. There have been news anchors fired over running stories and that they weren't supposed to run. Not because it was a terrible story or so bad that they had to get fired, but it just wasn't good for the people who give them money, you know? It's not like an uncommon thing. I mean, and like, so just take that and apply that logic to video games. Like it's not like exactly the same, obviously, but it's not exactly different either. Um, so yeah, I mean, coming back to my point, like you have YouTubers jumping on the trend, hating Nintendo, and then just, you know, being like, oh, I'm still gonna buy that game. Are they do they really care that this gets banned? No, because they care more about making money off off you watching their video. You know, when they get hundreds of thousands of views or whatever they get for views and money, or you know, some people are just looking to make it big so they can do that. And then bam, they just keep on doing the thing. That's like, what do they believe in? Nothing. What do our politicians believe in? And I know I'm gonna take this away from gaming a bit, but what does anyone believe in if they're just going to, you know, they're gonna say one thing and then not do it? I think that's why people just hate politics so much, because a lot of times it is just people, you know, lying about what they, you know, a lot of politics is just phrasing things in a way and not answering questions. So you don't have, you know, or it used to be at least, so you weren't caught in a lie, so they dodge and deflect. It's a very scummy thing, and it happens in news media too. You know, and it happens everywhere. There's tons of people that don't want to say their own opinions because they want to get something from someone else. Unfortunately, what? It's already been active. I guess it already got activated. So yeah. And so all of this is just kind of bad. The people with the big viewers, literally final thought. It's what I was trying to remember the whole time I was talking this. But everything else just kind of brings me to this. The people with hundreds of thousands of viewers, millions of viewership, that, you know, that just claim that they, you know, this is outrageous, and then just, you know, proceed to do the thing. Terrible. Fucking terrible. Like, it's not, those people are the ones that have the power. They're the ones that have actual power to change things. So when someone with hundreds of thousands of views on their videos say I suddenly buy it because I need to get videos to y'all, you know, why? I'm sure they could make money doing not Nintendo content, not Mario Kart content, with the exception if they're like on a you know, if they're a Mario Kart only channel. But even then, I'd be like, you know, hey, this channel isn't gonna be doing new Mario Kart content. I'm gonna be stuck on the old stuff because I can't afford it or something, you know. I would assume that would be, why do you make me kill a dog? It's not a wolf. I took his bone. Ow. But yeah, the people with the staying power, the people with the voices, they're not speaking up. Greed is a hell of a thing, and it is why America is in decline right now. Uh, once again, I know I'm bringing it back to politics, but this is just real world, stuff. This is just what happens in the real world. You have a voice, you have a following, and you don't speak up and you don't say stuff, and that's how you get Nazis like Elon Musk, in the American government destroying security, taking away health insurance for old people that need it, among many other things that are happening, you know, um, January 6th, instead of speaking up, telling the truth, the news corporations decide, you know what, we know this is false. There is literally I forget what it was. It was, what's his fucking name? The Weasley guy from that's no longer with Fox News. Tucker Carlson. There was, it came out that he knew the whole time that that Trump, had lost the election. He just ran with that shit. And because of that, January 6th was allowed to happen. If everyone spoke out, you know, then it wouldn't have happened. People. I mean, or maybe it would. I don't fucking know. The mega cult is a hard thing to deal with, and to actually accurately gauge. But regardless, when, like, if people just speak out, that it becomes really hard for people to be like, oh yeah, like the greedy corporations, the people controlling the media, to be like, no, wait, actually there are, people doing these outrageous things. Immigrants are taking over the country. If you'd be like, yeah, that person lied and they did this, if instead they reported the news for what it actually was, instead of tiptoeing around and not and doing all this other stuff, just because they're supposed to back the Republicans or they're afraid of getting fired, because they have their own agenda, um, you know, like that YouTuber's agenda is to get money out of you, to then and they also want to play the game, I'm sure, but they want to get all those views and they want you, they want you to click on their video so they can get more fame, so they can make more money, and so on and so forth. So they won't stand on their morals because they don't have any. They don't believe in anything, Like, that's what you tell people, essentially, when you do that. So I guess I'll end it with, if a YouTuber, if you are a person who thinks it's outrageous, just don't buy it. Go pick up a different hobby. Like, go wait for something to happen, anything besides supporting something. Even if it takes 3 years, you can wait. It's not, I know there's select few people who might, know that they're gonna die in like a year, but like, you could wait a year, see what happens. A bunch of people could wait a year and see if just impacting their sales, causes any change. It's not like it costs you anything. It costs you something to support Nintendo right now. It might cost you way less to support them in the future when they actually, start actually caring about their consumers instead of trying to take advantage of them and use them. And that is all I have to say. Sad times we live in, and sad things are happening inside the gaming industry, unfortunately. And the only benefit I see is that that smaller time game studios and AA game studios are literally on the rise because big companies and corporations keep failing and failing and failing and failing because they're just chasing trends. And I guess we'll just have to see if Marathon's another one of those notches in the failure list. Probably will be, unless they decide to delay the game for like a year, from what I've seen. But then again, someone just died, or not. So yeah, y'all take care. whatever it is, whatever situation you're in, I hope you make it through. I mean, if you're in especially if you're in America or somewhere else. There's a rat. He's tickling me.